we are here for a mine closure and a rehabilitation plan for an abandoned mine site here in Bagakay, Samar. The name of mining site here is the Philippine Pirate Corporation, located here in Bagakay, Samar. The type of mining is we have the pirate mining, and this was abandoned in the year of 1993. Arat na! Maupay na adlaw kaninyong tanan, aniya kita karon sa Bagakay, Samar, Leyte. Upon investigating the mining site that has been abandoned in 1993, we have the assessment of environmental damage. The first one is we have the soil contamination. Identify heavy metals and toxins in the soil caused by mining activities. It also measures soil pit and other indicator of fertility or contamination. Number 2 is we have the water pollution. Test local water sources, streams, groundwater, and lakes for acid mine drainage or AMD. It is a heavy metals and a redimentation. It also assesses the impact on aquatic ecosystems. The number 3 is we have the air quality impacts. Examine dust and emission from tailings and leftover materials. Number 4 is we have the vegetation and wildlife loss. Survey loss of native vegetation and habitat destruction in the surrounding RK. Documented species affected by habitat destruction and contamination. That is the environmental damage caused by mining pollution here in the abandoned mining site in Bagakay, Samar.
Hey there everyone, I'm here to explain what is soil reclamation. So soil reclamation is a multi-step process aimed at restoring the fertility and health of contaminated soil, often impacted by industrial activities, mining, or spills. So here are the steps outlined for soil reclamation. First is excavate and safely dispose of contaminated soil. This initial step involves carefully removing the contaminated soil from the affected area. This soil is then transported to a designated landfill or treatment facility for safe disposal, preventing further contamination of the surrounding environment. Second, treat the soil to neutralize acidity. Many contaminated soils exhibit high acidity, which inhibits plant growth and can harm beneficial microorganisms. This step involves adding lime or other chemical amendments to neutralize the acidity, bringing the pH level to a range suitable for plant life. The third is enrich soil fertility. The final step focuses on restoring the soil's fertility by adding organic compost and nutrients. Compost provides essential organic matter, improving soil structure, water retention, and nutrient availability. Adding fertilizers replenishes depleted nutrients, supporting plant growth and creating a healthy ecosystem. Water treatment. So what is water treatment? Water treatment is a critical process for removing pollutants and contaminants from water sources, ensuring the safety of drinking water and protecting aquatic ecosystems. The steps outlined focus on treating water contaminated by acid mine drainage. So here are the steps outlined for water treatment. First is WILA treatment wetlands or anaerobic bioreactors. AMD is highly acidic water runoff generated from mining operations, often containing heavy metals and sulfates. This step involves using constructed wetlands or installing anaerobic sulfate reducing bioreactors to neutralize the AMD. Wetlands utilize natural processes involving plants, microorganisms, and soil to filter and neutralize pollutants. Anaerobic bioreactors are engineered systems that employ bacteria to break down sulfates and reducing acidity. Second, install sediment traps and silt fences. Runoff from mining sites often carries sediment and pollutants. This step involves installing sediment traps and silt fences to capture and filter out these materials before they reach waterways. These structures prevent erosion and sedimentation, protecting aquatic life and quality. Water. Third, regularly monitor water quality. Regular monitoring of water quality is essential to assess the effectiveness of treatment methods. This step involves analyzing water samples for pH, heavy metals, and other contaminants. Based on the results, treatment and methods can be adjusted to optimize their effectiveness and ensure long-term water quality improvement.
So this is the continuation of the rehabilitation plan letter C. So we have two bullets. The first one is cap tailings and waste rock piles with impermeable layers to prevent leaching. It means covering these areas with materials that don't allow water to pass through. This creates a barrier that stops rainwater from seeping into the piles and potentially carrying harmful chemicals into the surrounding environment. The second bullet is recontour the land to restore natural drainage patterns. Recontouring the land to restore natural drainage pattern involves reshaping the terrain to mimic the way water flowed before mining activities disrupted it. This means creating slopes and channels that direct water naturally, preventing it from pooling or eroding the land. This helps to reduce the risk of flooding, soil erosion, and pollution, promoting a healthier and more sustainable ecosystem. Now the next one is the letter D, which is revegetation. Choose native plant species suited to local conditions for soil stabilization and ecosystem recovery. Choosing native plant species suited to local conditions for soil stabilization and ecosystem recovery means selecting plants that naturally thrive in the area, helping to rebuild the soil, prevent erosion, and attract beneficial wildlife. Now the second bullet is use hydroseeding to distribute seeds and nutrients efficiently. Hydroseeding is like a supercharged way to plant seeds. It involves mixing seeds with a slurry of water, fertilizer, and a mulch and spraying this mixture into the land. This method allows for efficient distribution of seeds and nutrients, ensuring they reach the soil evenly and quickly. It's a great way to quickly establish vegetation for soil stabilization and ecosystem recovery, especially on large areas. Now, integrate tree planting to aid in long-term soil binding as carbon sequestration. Integrating tree planting into mine reclamation helps to create a more sustainable and resilient ecosystem. Trees have deep-rooted systems that bind the soil, preventing erosion and promoting long-term stability. They also act as carbon sinks, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and storing it in their wood or leaves. This helps to mitigate climate change while also restoring the natural beauty and biodiversity of the land. Now we have the last one, which is the letter E. And this is community involvement. The first one is engage local stakeholders and communities in the rehabilitation process. Engaging local stakeholders and communities in the rehabilitation process means involving them in planning, implementing, and monitoring the restoration efforts. This ensures that the land is restored in a way that benefits the local community and respects their cultural values. The second is provide training and employment opportunities related to the site rehabilitation. Offering training and employment opportunities related to site rehabilitation empowers local communities with the skills and knowledge needed for restoring the environment. This creates job opportunities and fosters a sense of ownership in the rehabilitation process, ensuring long-term sustainability.
Monitoring and maintenance. Establish long-term monitoring protocols for soil, water, and vegetation recovery. A long-term monitoring plan or protocol will potentially help to recover the soil, water, and vegetation. Use remote sensing technology and ground surveys to track progress. The usage of remote sensing technology will help track any of the significant progress. Ground surveys will help in surveying the current state of the recovery. Ensure adaptive management, addressing unforeseen challenges promptly. This will help for the recovery process to easily adjust to all of the changes. By addressing these unforeseen challenges, this will help for us to become more ready and be prepared to all of the challenges we will face in the future.
today we're diving into a super important topic that can affect all of us, our environment. So, we're gonna tackle about advocating for stricter environmental regulations in the mining industry. So first up, let's talk about strengthening environmental standards. Have you already know that mining can have huge impact on our planet? That's why it's essential to advocate for stricter limits on emissions and waste disposal. This means setting clear rules of how much pollution mining companies can produce and how they should handle waste. And guess what? Before mining begins, we should require baseline environmental assessments. This is like taking a health check of the environment to see what it looks like before any digging starts. And next, we need to ensure financial accountability from these companies. Imagine if they had to get aside funds specifically cleaning up their mess after they done mining. Yes, that's right. As part of their licensing agreements, we can require them to save money for site rehabilitation. And if they don't follow the rules, of course, there should be a strict penalties for non-compliance. It's like no mess, no stress policy.
Let's talk about monitoring and enforcement. We need to promote independent audits of mining operations. This means having a unbiased fault check and to make sure companies are sticking to the rules. And here where it gets really cool, we can leverage technology to detect violations. Think drone and sensor that help keep an eye on things. It's like having superhero team for our environment. And what about the communities affected by mining? They have right too. We should support their voices and empower them to demand accountability from mining companies. This means advocating for transparent public reporting of mining impact and rehabilitation progress. Everyone deserves to know what's happening in their backyard, right?
Yes, you're right.
Thank you for watching and adios summer later!